hello, how are you all this fine day? I hope that if you're here, you've subscribed to this channel if you're not already, and you check out the links that are down below. There's going to be a lot of my own links for social media and my website, as well as, if I remember, I will hopefully find some additional resources that will coincide with what we are discussing today, which is self-diagnosis and autism and truly neurodiversity in general, which, to kind of be more inclusive, neurodiversity does include autism, ADHD, learning disabilities. There are many different labels or diagnoses that fall under the neurodiversity umbrella. Basically, if your mind thinks differently than others, chances are you are neurodiverse. But most specifically, whether it's true or not, I feel the responsibility to really emphasize this whole potential discrepancy around diagnosing yourself with autism. If I myself am just generically thinking of diagnosing yourself with said condition or whatever the heck, I usually think of just like a quick Google search, a WebMD, what have you, something that might not be well founded, it might not be accurate, it's only like maybe taking a snippet of the potential of whatever you could be. Are you making it up? You know, there are many questions and seeds of doubt that such language can lead us to think. But I speak today as someone who is officially clinically diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, and I say that fully recognizing that such an experience, a designation, it's a really enormous privilege. An official clinical diagnosis means that, one, you can afford the exuberant price tag that comes with. You have access to someone who is qualified to do so and can do so thoroughly and actually diagnose you properly. It means that you probably have some sort of access to healthcare, that you're in a geographical location, that there are so many boxes to check that inherently come with an official diagnosis. The process, it takes time. There are flaws in the system just because original and still used information and research about autism goes back to its origins of being a predominantly male condition, and that in turn also is discriminatory against basically anyone who does not fall under a likely white privileged male. So, if you are autistic and you don't meet those criteria, you're probably never going to receive an official diagnosis on a piece of paper after taking countless hours to go through it, to do the paperwork, there's a lot that comes with it. It is truly an exhaustive process. And I originally wasn't planning to do it. And I went through the process many months after first realizing and in turn self-diagnosing myself as autistic. So if someone is taking that risk, because it is, someone truly does not have to disclose at all their neurodiversity if they choose not to. But if they do, and they say they're autistic, then chances are that they have done thorough research. They have either been in communication with or personally know others that are also autistic, and they have likely are, if we're talking about adults here, they're of an age where they've spent years not knowing or just not sharing. You know, everyone's situation is different, but if someone is generally autistic, then it's not a term that they throw around. And to simply acknowledge that, to be autistic, it's huge. Because people have assumptions and rely upon stereotypes, and they very often invalidate that. Again, if they do not fall under the male, white, privileged umbrella, child umbrella. And that's just not accurate. And until there is equal access to these resources, and especially resources that autistic people actually endorse themselves, not just outside individuals, then self-diagnosis is the true only option to just be seen and be validated in who someone authentically is. So, long story short, self-diagnosis is completely valid. Unless there is any sort of suspicion that said person who is just being very, I might say just like jokingly or not seriously throwing around autism, then they probably are autistic, or at least neurodiverse in some capacity. So to consider self-diagnosis as something that is false or should not be done at all, then that means that most people that are autistic will never they will never actually reach their own potential. And that's just sad, because our world is unjust enough that to just be yourself and actually feel like you are not alone, that you haven't been making things up your whole life, that there is truly a reason for you being you, that's just a human right. And neurodiversity is not an illness. So it would be equivalent for someone to not be able to self-diagnose as neurodiverse as someone who was prohibited from coming out as transgender or gay or anything like that. It's a part of someone's identity. And you know who you are, or at least you are in the process of learning who you are. And if you have not been given the permission before, let me do that for you right now. If you know deep down that you are neurodiverse in some capacity, then I validate you. You are valid. You are seen, you are heard, and I hope that not only that we can have more accessible resources that can actually provide the support needed for neurodiverse people, but I hope that as we continue to learn more, and I hope that we just become generally more inclusive and open-minded, that the face that we might associate as autistic is not just one, that there are many backgrounds, economic statuses, genders, sexualities, you name it, anyone can be autistic. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you for being here. Again, if there are some cool things that you can check out if you're in this own process, I'm leaving them down below. And if you haven't already, like this video if you like it, share any sort of comments down below if you have some thoughts, and subscribe if you haven't already. Support this thing we got going on, and I'll see you all next time.